Welcome back, duelists, to Duel Hub. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my Ancient Warriors deck profile. So, this is a very, very fun deck to play. It's more of a going second strategy. Let's get right into this. Make sure you guys are subscribed if you are not. Make sure you guys are leaving comments and liking the videos. Alright, here we go. Starting things off with 3 copies of Ancient Warriors Virtuous Lu Juan. While you control another Ancient Warriors monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. And you can also use each of the following effects once per turn. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can send 1 card from your hand or deck to the graveyard, special summon 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your deck, except Lu Juan. And when an attack is declared involving another Ancient Warriors monster you control, you can draw 1 card. Essentially your main starter right there. Alright, moving right along. We have triple copies of Ancient Warriors Ingenious Zekong. So if this card is added from the deck to your hand by the effect of an Ancient Warriors card, you can special summon it. When a spell or trap card is activated, quick effect, you can send 1 face-up Ancient Warriors continuous spell or trap you control to the graveyard and negate the activation. And when a monster effect is activated while you control Lu Juan, quick effect, you can send 1 Ancient Warrior continuous spell or trap to the graveyard and negate the activation. Very, very nice. You can only use each of those effects once per turn. 3 Zekong. Next up, I'm running 3 copies of Ancient Warriors Loyal Guan Yun. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And your opponent cannot target other Ancient Warrior monsters with card effects. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use this effect of Ancient Warriors Loyal Guan Yun once per turn. 3 Loyal Guan Yun. And then I'm running the 1 Ancient Warriors Valiant Zhang Dai. So gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls during your turn only. You can only use each of the following effects of Valiant Zhang Dai once per turn. If you control 2 or more Ancient Warrior monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. And also, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can activate this effect. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. 1 Valiant Zhang Dai. Okay, moving right along. The Water Kingdom. I'm running 3 copies of Ancient Warriors Masterful Sun Mu. While you control another Ancient Warriors monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. So this and the Lu Juan creates a little soft lock. Your opponent cannot target either of them for an attack. And then you can only use each of the effects of Masterful Sun Mu once per turn. You can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, add 1 Ancient Warrior monsters from your deck to your hand except Sun Mu. And if your other Ancient Warrior monster's effect is activated, except during the damage step, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. Nice little bounce capability and get you a search. And what I like to do is to go into Lu Juan, have him special summon out Sun Mu, and then from there you can get Sun Mu to add Zekong to your deck and he'll special summon himself out. So that's usually what I like to go to. Alright, 2 copies of Ancient Warriors Graceful Zhao Gong. You can target 1 continuous spell trap card you control, send it to the graveyard. And if you do, add 1 Ancient Warrior spell trap from your deck to your hand. If your other Ancient Warrior monster effect is activated, Except during the damage step, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Zhao Gong once per turn. And that'll do it for the Water Kingdom. And then for the Fire Kingdom, I am running the single copy of Ancient Warriors Ambitious Chaldea. While you control another Ancient Warrior monster, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Ambitious Chaldea once per turn. If a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field in defense position. The one Chaldea. Next up, I'm running 2 copies of Ancient Warriors Fearsome Zhang Wan. All other Ancient Warrior monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. You can only use each of the following effects of Fearsome Zhang Wan once per turn. At the start of the damage step, when your Ancient Warrior monsters battles an opponent's face-up monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, that opponent's monster loses 1000 attack. And also you can, if a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Okay, that'll do it for my Ancient Warrior monsters lineup. And I'm also running 3 copies of Gamisu, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. Help you get rid of any sort of problematic monsters that are going to be an issue. You can just Gamisu them. And I'm running the 1 copy of Dino Wrestler Pinkertops. This is a going second deck, and Pinkertops is just amazing. I was considering having 2 of the Zaliant Zhangde, but the 1 Pinkertops I feel like was the better selection. Okay, that's it for the monster lineup. Moving right along into our spell cards. I've got 3 copies of Ancient Warrior Saga, 3 visits. So during your main phase, if you normal or special summon an Ancient Warriors monster, you can target one of those monsters, add 1 Ancient Warrior monster with a different name from your deck to your hand. So that right there, that will trigger off your Zekong as well. And if this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your hand, and you can only use each of those effects once per turn. Have to destroy this during the second standby phase after activation, but you would most likely send it to the graveyard by then already anyways. Okay, next up I'm running 2 copies of Ancient Warrior Saga, East by South Winds. So you must send this card to the graveyard during your second standby phase after activation. Once per turn during your main phase, toss a coin, and if the results is head, send this card to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. This turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Ancient Warrior cards and effects. Also, until the end of the turn, all Ancient Warriors effect monsters you currently control gain this effect. When this card declares an attack, you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Really, really nasty stuff right there. You can really steamroll your opponent if you really get it rolling. Okay, next up I got 2 copies of Ancient Warrior Saga, Borrowing of Arrows. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and 1 Ancient Warrior monsters you control. Until the end of this turn, have that opponent's monster's attack, and if you do, add the lost attack to your monster, even if this card leaves the field. And if this card is sent to the graveyard while you control if you control 2 Ancient Warrior monsters with 2 different attributes, you can place 1 Ancient Warrior's continue a spell from your hand or deck face up on the field. So really, really nasty extending capabilities right there. I had this at 1 and I had the East by South Winds at 3, but I put these two and 2. I feel like it's a lot more utility that way. And it's a lot better than opening doubles of each one of those. Lower your chances of that happening. Okay, next up I'm running 3 Fire Formation Tenki. Just a way to get you out your plays. Lose one, what you usually be searching for. Good starter card right here. Essentially you're running extra copies. Lose one. Then the 1 Fire Formation TENSU can get you an additional normal summon of a Beast Warrior monster. Alright, and this is a going second deck, so I'm maining the 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. Allow us to pop off. And then I'm running 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. Alright, that'll do it for my spell cards. And then for the trap cards, I'm running the single copy of Ancient Warriors Defense of Changban. So if your Ancient Warrior monster battles, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. And then you can only use one of the following effects of Defense of Changban once per turn, and only once that turn. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can send this face-up card from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target Ancient Warrior monsters for attacks this turn. A good little stall action there. And also, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your deck. Usually you would try to go for your Cal Day if you don't have them out already. That's it for the main deck. Moving right along to the extra deck. I'm running 3 copies of Ancient Warriors Oath, Double Dragon Lords. All Ancient Warrior monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. You can only use each of the following effects of Double Dragon Lords once per turn. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. And then quick effect, you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So that combo is really, really nice with the Gamma Seal. You can Gamma Seal your opponent, and then pull this out, and then bounce the Gamma Seal back to your hand so you have it on deck again for your next turn. So Double Dragon Lords is an amazing, amazing card. I really wish they would add more support for the Ancient Warriors monsters. Okay, next up I'm running 3 copies of Brotherhood of the Fire Fist, Tiger King. Get you out one of your Fire Formation spell or traps, and also has very, very powerful negation ability. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, negate the effects of all face-up effect monsters currently on the field except Beast Warrior types until the end of your opponent's turn. So that's just insane right there. Alright. Along, I got 2 copies of Tornado Dragon for some spell and trap removal. I got 2 copies of Abyss Dweller. Can help you out. Then I got 2 copies of Babushka, the Terribly Tired Taper. copies of number 101 Silent Honor Arc. And the 1 copy of DAIGUSTO EMERAL. Do it, folks, for my Ancient Warriors deck profile. I really have been enjoying this deck, so let me know what you guys think. If you guys are doing anything differently, or what you guys thought about it, definitely leave a like. If you haven't yet, definitely helps out the channel greatly. That's it, folks. Let me know what you guys think, and until the next one, this is Dual Hub, signing off.